Welcome to the show, folks. And thank you, Marcella, for being here. Today we're going to talk about San Diego Comic-Con 2024. Not everything, but the main thing we're going to start with, of course, is Star Trek. And this is the first thing I want to talk about before San Diego Comic-Con. I just want to say that Star Trek Prodigy Season 2 is currently available on VOD today. That's available on in Canada and the US and I don't know where else. But that's a positive, I guess, to start out on.
Yeah, because the last time
I
that
haven't
we were
seen it.
on,
I'm Canadian,
yeah,
so yeah.
yeah. No, I was gonna
I'm
say
not
like the
gonna
last
buy
time.
it, by the way. I'm not gonna
Mm,
fuck that. Put it on TV like you did the first season. Don't
yeah,
make me buy it.
don't make
I
me
can
buy.
understand if people do. They want to see it, but like it's a kids show. It's animated.
Yeah,
I don't have the incentive to really go out and get that.
yeah, yeah. I really enjoyed Star Trek Prodigy season 2. I like where it went, but Star Trek Prodigy, when it comes to the new Star Trek that we've gotten in the Kurtzman era, is probably on the lower end of what I get excited about with Star Trek, if not at the very, very end. Um, but with that, I will say that I'm really, really excited that you have access to it now because last time we were on, you didn't have access to it.
I'm if it doesn't show up soon on TV, I guess I might consider getting it. But I do want to say that it is a quality show. It's like an all ages kind of thing. It's not too dark and disturbing that kids can't watch it. So, but I'm more just to be honest, I am more interested in live action Star Trek
Hmm.
than
Yeah.
animated Lower Decks or Prodigy. Just to be fair, like I don't feel the need to like analyze the animated stuff so much. Jill is
Right.
in the audience. She says, "Today I said greetings to a cashier and they looked surprised and said, I haven't heard that one before." Wow.
Hey, that's really
They're not used
odd.
to they're not used to somebody saying the word greetings.
How greetings and
Greetings
salutations.
and I was gonna say
That's right.
greetings and salutations, folks.
Salutations. Brilliant minds think alike, right? No, I was just really pleased by the way that the because I don't know if you're aware of this, PJ, but you can watch the full Star Trek Universe panel on YouTube right now. Paramount Plus put it up.
Oh really? I did not know that.
Yeah.
I just
So
saw the news highlights.
yeah. So I actually watched the whole panel, and the moderator that they got, the writer and the director of Dear White People, he was great. He was really, really great. He had great energy. Uh, Al, um, oh my God, Akiba Goldsman and Henry Alonso Myers, they were really, really bubbly and fun, and it was great to see Ethan Peck and Rebecca Ferguson there. They're awesome as well. So I hope that with the new season of Strange New Worlds that we got coming up soon, I hope that it's better than the clip they put out because I didn't like that clip at all. But that's just me.
Uh,
Um,
well, first things first. Let's talk about
sorry.
this. No, it's all good. Um,
Oh,
Robert Picardo, Tig
oh,
Notaro, Mary Wiseman, and Oded Fair.
oh, did fair. Oh,
I
did
don't
fair.
know how to pronounce his name. Joined Star Trek Starfleet Academy. Now,
Yeah.
we kind of figured that Mary Wiseman would be there,
Oh yeah.
but we're getting two other Discovery alumni joining the cast, and that will be in addition to let's see, let's see what they
Holly
named the entire
Hunter.
cast.
Yeah. Holly
Well, it says here the
Hunter.
bigger surprise is that Robert Picardo will be reprising his Star Trek Voyager and Prodigy role as the Doctor. Unfortunately, I did not see him in the new season of Prodigy, uh, which I can now, I admit. He will. He too will be a series regular for Starfleet Academy. He joins the previously announced cast members, including Holly Hunter and reoccurring guest stars Gina Yashere and Paul Giamatti. So the cast is rounding up to be pretty good. Uh,
Yeah.
they announced the additional cast. So most of the cast of the show has been announced. I just want to ask you, Marcel, what do you think of Robert Picardo coming back to play the Doctor? Because he could. He's basically immortal if you want to make him that. So
Yeah. Yeah. First of all, I was really delighted with Robert Picardo's performance as a doctor in Prodigy, but seeing Robert Picardo come back in live action as a doctor for Star Trek Starfleet Academy is wonderful because I did not see that coming. I was expecting that we were going to get some major news at Comic Con or around Comic Con about the show, but his announcement being that he's going to be in the show, and the biggest dumb moment ever. If you watch the press release, you go, "Man, why is he going to be in the show?" Dub. We've been saying that for how long now? Yeah, but I'm so excited that Robert Carter is going to come back to live action Star Trek.
yeah. I love Robert Picardo. He is one of the best parts of Voyager. If you took him
Yeah.
out of that show, it wouldn't be the same. You can say that for a couple of cast members. You can
Hmm.
certainly take a couple of cast members out of Voyager, and it wouldn't mean crap to
Much.
me. But I don't want to get petty. But yes, it's it's rounding out to be a great cast, especially with Holly Hunter and Paul Giamatti as the reoccurring antagonist role, whatever
Villain,
that
yeah.
is. Uh, and it's 32nd century. Okay, fine.
Yeah, it's
But
fine.
uh, let's move on. There's a lot of stuff. So let's move on to the next thing. We got a teaser trailer for Section 31. And I laugh because,
Oh yeah.
dude, it looks just it looks
I
so generic. And I don't mean to bag on it, but come on.
No,
Like,
it's okay.
you're a bad bitch and like, haha, jokey. And it's just, it's like if you took the worst elements of flashy modern Trek where people sound modern, people sound like they come from 2024 LA, you know? I mean, it's just,
Hmm.
it's weird. And I'm interested in the guy in the mech suit. There's some guy, people thought he was Borg, but he's not. He's a part of the team.
Hmm.
Um, the teaser trailer, though, full of action and explosions and clever quips and whatnot, uh, doesn't tell me much about what the movie
The
is about.
plot.
They do this flashback to when Giorgio was a young girl becoming emperor, I guess, for the first time. You know, like
Yeah.
she's being crowned emperor, and this is the beginning of her journey. So there's a connection with her past. What's that about? And what does it have to do with this particular story? I don't know. What did you think of it, Marcelo?
I did not like the trailer at all.
Okay.
I was like, I don't want this. It looked like something that was so far removed from what I expected Star Trek to look like. It looked multicolorful and it looked too bubbly. I'm like, what? Stop with the fucking bad bitch bullshit. Stop moving the camera that fast. Just stop it. It didn't look enticing at all. It just looked like everything that I don't like about modern Star Trek. I'm like, ugh, really? And here's another thing. Everybody loves Michelle Yeoh. I love Michelle Yeoh, but here's one thing that I kind of that I kind of gave a rest for a while, but this trailer really brought it back. I don't like I am not crazy about Empress Giorgio. I want um uh, you know um um I want Michelle Yeoh back as Prime Giorgio. I don't care about the Empress. She's an evil dictator.
Well, they acknowledge, yeah, that one of the
Yeah,
characters
yeah,
acknowledges that, and it's like you're the, and like, yeah, we know, and
yeah. And we, yeah,
she's trying to be cool and jokey. Like her character, like Michelle Yeoh, is great in
yeah.
literally fucking
Anything,
everything but
please.
this role.
Yeah,
And I try to be like open minded and be like, well, okay,
yeah,
sometimes I'm warming up to it. Like, for example,
yeah.
her two exit episodes in Discovery are probably her best ones.
They were good.
They were her best. That was the best Giorgio Mirror
Right.
Giorgio ever
Hmm.
got,
Yep.
and hopefully the movie. See, the whole thing about her is she's so one note in, especially season 2 of Discovery, where she's just like, I'll just like I'm evil and I'm gonna crack like
Jokes.
unfunny jokes all the time and try to be
Yeah.
quippy and clever, and it just comes across as like somebody trying to write a 1960s Batman villain and just failing at it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I know Michelle Yeoh is, she's like, I'll say it again, I've said it before, she's legend.
Yeah.
Look back at her early films and you'll be like, what the fuck, I didn't know she was this good. Like a lot of people just don't know her from like her early days, like Yes Madam, I think, is one of the best movies.
Yeah.
Martial arts movie. I hope I'm getting the
Hmm.
name right. It's
Yeah.
she's
No,
with
I,
that blonde woman, Cynthia somebody, I forget, I'm sorry.
yeah.
She's great. It's just that this trailer doesn't do her or this Star Trek made for a streaming movie, the first one of its kind,
Yeah.
doesn't do it any favors. So I don't know.
No, and like, I don't, everybody who watches me on this stream and other streams on YouTube and other places, everybody who knows that I cover Star Trek, they know one inescapable fact. I don't like the director who directs this movie. I don't like this guy. I don't like him as a,
Olatunde Osusami.
yes, I don't
Yeah.
like him as a artistic director because I feel that the man has an obsession with turning the camera upside down and he can't keep the camera
And you
still
see it
to
in the
save his life.
you see it in one of those
I
things.
cannot,
That's a trope in modern things, and he's
I
really like, he's a
I
very stylish and flashy director,
yes,
and
but
it can work sometimes, and I think it might be appropriate for this particular movie. But
yeah,
again, like
I'm gonna get,
I can just see in my head
I can't.
a scene where like three people are talking in a room, say like about,
And he's
you know,
gonna,
expositions talk, but the camera's like this, or it's like twirling around them, kind of like,
I'm gonna get
or
so,
it's like it's I call this motion sickness cinematography,
yeah, motion
where
sickness.
where TV shows will be shot in the ultra wide screen, and the
Yeah,
camera constantly has to be, it can't be still for one fucking second.
yeah.
I have a counter to that in a second. This is where we're going to move on to next. Strange New Worlds. They show a clip.
Mhm.
I got to admit, I like this clip. Silly, goofy. It is really just like the pre-credit setup to one of the episodes, probably the
Right,
premiere
cold
episode. I don't.
open. Is it cold
Yeah,
open?
the cold open. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very well done. Here's one
Yep.
of the things I appreciated about that scene: the camera work.
Yeah. Still.
They don't fuck around. They just shoot coverage, and it's
That's
a
it.
still shot, and they don't do anything really. Strange New Worlds and Picard in particular are one of the shows where they're like, we don't got time for this shit. We don't got time to set up twirling the camera around the room and like flying the camera upside down, and like, we don't got time. We're on a schedule. We need to get this done. Let's focus on the character and the humor. And yes, Strange New Worlds, I've said before, is one of these shows that's strangely imbalanced, and where it's like one episode it'll be super serious, and the next episode will be like fucking pure jokes. But I don't know.
Yeah. Strange New Worlds is definitely a can of worms. You and I have talked about it at length on my channel, but this clip, unfortunately, like it did with you, like it, with this clip, really didn't hit with me at all. I like for new shows that are for new seasons that are coming out. I prefer trailers over scenes because scenes can be taken out of context, and that's what I feel happened with me um with this clip that we got from Strange New Worlds. It was like just I didn't find it funny? I'm like, I don't care. You gotta like, I need some context here, you know?
Well,
But whatever.
what surprised me about the clip in particular, it was, uh, okay, yeah, they're gonna turn Vulcan with the little serum or whatever, uh, and they're gonna go on a mission. But I didn't realize the joke. It's a 5 minute clip. I'm like, what are they gonna show me in 5 minutes? But I bought it. Like I was like, okay, they go on the mission because they are all Vulcan. All of a sudden, they accomplished it. It was almost like a lower decks bit. That's what it felt like to me. It
Uh-huh.
felt like I can understand
Yeah.
people like, okay, the comedy and the goofiness of Strange New Worlds may be pushing it too much. I certainly would agree in some aspects, but this one I had a little chuckle because they're like, "This is done. This is done. This is done. Okay, back now." And then they're like, "Oh, we're regretful that we can't spend more time as Vulcans because this is pretty, they like it." And then
Uh-huh.
the revelation, and I guess the setup for the entire episode is that they're stuck like that, and the comedy will ensue. How is Spock gonna deal with this shit? Like.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, what are they gonna do in the very next episode of that very season? Have something super serious, super dark,
Probably.
a completely tonal shift, and I think they're
Probably.
gonna keep up that thing. I think they think that's what their formula is now. I'm not sure if that's what they're doing, but it seems like when we're silly and we're funny, we're gonna go all the way, and when we're serious and like they can't
And
find
Dower,
a
we're gonna go all the
balance,
way.
yeah, they can't find a weird. I'll go
Mm.
with it, man. Like I don't hate Strange New Worlds. I
No.
think it's like most modern Trek. It's like mediocre. Not in a
No.
bad way. I'm not. I
Yeah.
don't. That sounds harsh, but it's like, dude, you got to look at all the good stuff out there. You got to compare it to like House of the Dragon and a lot of these Apple shows like Ted Lasso. I could go on about like quality, like the Penguin, for example. One
Right.
of these shows that you would normally annoy me. Another fucking Batman show without Batman. Stop it!
Fucking
Stop
Batman.
it! But I saw the trailer for
Batman.
this at San Diego Comic Con. We're gonna skip ahead to that later. But I was like, wow, this looks like the new Sopranos set in Gotham.
Batman show without Batman. Stop it. I'm sorry.
It's like, stop that. What do you keep
That's
making
funny.
these Batman shows where like
Oh, yeah,
Batman
Batman.
shows up in the shadows for 3 seconds? Like, what's the point?
I'm
I want to
sorry.
know about Dick fucking Grayson and his journey.
I'm sorry. That's funny. I'm sorry, folks. That was funny. Oh shit. I'm sorry, PG. Go ahead. Oh,
So you were not you weren't as on board as me as with Strange New Worlds. I'm on the fence with
no,
the show, but
no.
that
I
clip in
mean, I mean,
particular worked for me.
I mean, I just want to be clear. This clip didn't work for me, but Strange New Worlds as a whole really works for me because Strange New Worlds is the flavor of Star Trek that I thought current Star Trek was going to be. Um, I do agree with you, and I've said on my own channel that Strange New Worlds has a balance problem, like you intimated. But you know, I with Strange New Worlds, I take with I take the good with the bad a lot easier than I did with Discovery when it was on the air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Strange New Worlds has a degree of bubbliness and fun that Discovery
Yep.
lacked. Discovery was just is so self serious sometimes, and they were so afraid to take the focus off of Michael Burnham. Like,
Right.
Sonequa, it's all on you. And she's like, guys, give me a fucking break. Like,
Yeah.
that's an ensemble cast. Like, let's do what TNG did and the other shows did with like focus on other characters.
Right.
Uh, I love Sonequa Martin Green. I also love Tanya
Tandy
Newsom. I
Newton.
think she's
Yeah.
great,
Connie Newsom.
and she's really involved in the Star Trek. Not only as a cast member on Lower Decks,
Yep.
which by the way
Mm.
got its last season premiere
Yep.
date October 26th. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's
And
October at the
yeah,
end of October,
it's October. And we got a first the trailer came out for it as well.
which is very reminiscent of the
Yeah,
Undiscovered Country
I
first teaser.
I I loved the the trailer for the final season of Lower Decks because it gave me all the feels. Like, oh my god, and you said it right there. The fact that they were paying homage to the Undiscovered Country, which is my favorite Star Trek film of all time. Like I, I lost it. I was like, oh my god, this is great. The other thing about Tanya Newsom, if you watch the Star Trek Universe panel, I did not realize how gorgeous that woman is. So gorgeous.
Yeah, she's yeah, she's very pretty, but she's she's a very involved writer now.
Yeah, she
And
is.
moving on to our next thing,
Hmm?
this was probably the most interesting thing to come out of uh, San Diego Comic Con, in my opinion, because they announced a new Star Trek series, but it's not Star Trek Legacy. We want
Womp
legacy, motherfucker. No, I don't care. I don't care. You know what?
We don't.
The
I don't
second I
care.
found out this was 25th
It's fun.
century, I was like, cool, all right. Whatever else you're talking about, like it's gonna be like The Office or workplace comedy. I'm like, live action comedy. Hmm. But
Eh,
25th century kind of like just like Starfleet Academy. It's like, hey, you announced Starfleet Academy. Oh, it's set in the 32nd century. That's a counter to my enthusiasm, but I'll still give it a chance, of course. This is like the reverse of that, where it's like the announcement of the premise of the show is like, huh? I don't know about that, but 25th century, cool, because Frakes could show up.
yep.
Spiner, Burton,
Yep.
McFadden,
Hmm.
Melgrew,
Anybody.
Jerry Ryan, anybody from
Yeah.
that
From that era.
from the post Picard era. It's great. By the way, Jill says I detested the Strange New Worlds clip.
Oh, good, Jill. So you and I are on the same train of thought because I was like, no, this ain't it.
Today's Star Trek World, yeah, Saturday's Star Trek Universe panel was moderated by Justin Simeon, writer, director of Dear White People, and director of The Haunted Mansion. Simeon turns out to be a big fan, especially of The Next Generation, but that wasn't the only reason. He was at San Diego Comic Con for Trek. As the lower deck section of the panel was wrapping up, Simeon pointed to cast member Tawny Newsom, who plays Mariner, and announced, "Tawny and I are pregnant." Not really, not literally, but with a Star Trek show. The pair gave cryptic clues about the series they are developing, with talk of 25th century shenanigans, odd couple pairings, and at one point Justin just shouted, "Vibes!" to get fans excited. I don't know why shouting the word vibes in a room would get anybody excited, but whatever, I guess you had to be there. What do you think of this live action freaking comedy? Do you think this is a smart direction to go in, or are
Uh,
they just like missing an opportunity to develop something serious post Picard, maybe with Jerry Ryan and I don't know, Michelle Hurd as the leads? But
yeah,
no, let's not do that.
but no.
No.
I I don't I don't know about this because here's a fun fact about me, people. I don't like Office, The Office. I don't like sitcoms. There's only one sitcom I ever liked in my entire life,
Full
and that's
House.
Frasier.
Oh shit.
The,
Yeah.
the,
Okay.
that's Frasier. Um, but I don't know if Star Trek live action is going to work for comedy. I know it worked for Lower Decks, but I'm very very dubious of this. I am happy that Tony Newsom is leveling up her writing game because she's also a writer on Star Trek Starfleet Academy. So I am happy that she's leveling up her bona fides, but I just don't know what to think right now. I honestly don't know what to think right now.
The closest thing we got to a taste of this in modern Trek, is in terms of live action comedy, is the crossover that
Oh
Lower
yes,
Decks
yes,
had with Strange New Worlds in season 2.
yes.
And I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
It's just one of those things where you got to wait to see, what it's about, who's cast in it. a trailer
Yeah.
maybe. And you know what?
Yeah.
The Section 30, going back to the Section 31 thing, dude, I was like trying to be positive and being like, well, maybe it's gonna be. It's not gonna be good. It looks bad. It probably will be bad. I don't mean to be a fucking shithead, but I mean
No.
that is just the case. I mean, if the marketing department could only conjure up this, what they gave in that teaser for a teaser, and say like, well, this is the best shot at selling it. I'm like, well, fucking try harder then, because like
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
and you know what? I could be totally fucking wrong. I'm sorry to curse so much, but the movie could be kick ass and actually fun to watch. Who knows? But I just doubt it, just because the track record of like this era of, and it's a lot of franchises too, dude. It's not only Star Trek, it's Star Wars too, where it's like there's so much content. One mind, or one kind of section of fandom would say, well, you should consider yourself lucky because you got all this stuff. And if you don't like five things, you don't like the one thing out of the six that they made. And it's like, well, personally, I prefer just quality over quantity. I don't need to have two or three Star Trek shows. I could have one a year. Like Game of Thrones, for example, that universe. That show's not. Might get to a point where they have multiple shows out at the same time. Hopefully that doesn't happen. They want to focus on one thing at a time. But what they're doing in their universe, they had the main show, then they have the prequel show. Presumably, when House of the Dragon is done, they will move on to the next show. So they want to continue it. But Star Trek is like, we have to have 3 live action, 2 animated. Well, by the way, they dumped Prodigy, so I guess that doesn't really count. But it's just one of these things where, if you're going to announce something, have it be counter to what you're already doing. Perhaps because Lower Decks is ending, and you're getting the main Star Trek comedy, like that's going away now, and the
Mhm.
same person involved in that is like, well, we'll give you an opportunity to make a live action comedy to replace that in a way. I get it, but like I don't think it's needed. You know what I mean? Like I think you only need one Star Trek show, serious comedy here and there, sure, and one movie every few years, couple of years, and that's it. I think an oversaturation in this franchise and others is just making these announcements kind of like you have less enthusiasm. Remember when they announced Picard? It was like, oh my god, this is going to
Yeah,
be the
it
greatest
was.
thing in the
It
fucking world.
was.
And then the first 2
Yeah.
seasons were garbage. And
Ugh.
it's like,
Yeah.
you don't
Yeah.
know anymore. You just
Yeah.
can't,
You
you
just
can
don't
hang,
know.
you can't hang your hopes on anything.
Yeah.
Sorry, go
Listen,
ahead.
like, no, I heard that when I read this morning on Trek Movie about the live action comedy series that Ty Newsom is working on. Like I just said before, I don't know, and I do echo PJ sentiments that I do think that modern Star Trek is guilty of having too much stuff on the air at one time. And I don't understand where this need of canceling Lower Decks and just coming right on the heels of that with the announcement of, oh, by the way, we're creating a live action comedy series to replace the thing that we just canceled that was actually working. I mean, they didn't say that, but to me, it comes off as that.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah,
Um, yeah.
totally.
So, um, yeah, I do think that at some point, the individuals who greenlight all of modern Star Trek are going to have to think, what's more important, the fact that we have just Star Trek on the air, or we have Star Trek with good quality. And
Yeah.
I think that that's the question that they're going to have to deal with at some point.
And you know what? It's maybe they're waiting for Terry. That's another thing about
Maybe.
uh, the delay on like a follow up to Picard, whether that be a TV. Like I thought they might announce a TV movie of Picard at Comic Con. No, but that's okay. I don't care if they don't announce things I expect, as long as they announce something that's interesting. I
Mm.
don't know about this live action comedy. Could be great, but to me, like when they announced, I'm just thinking like, oh well, fuck it. Why not just do a traditional sitcom in front of a live studio audience where like people like you're actually recording a live laugh track and people are
Oh
on
god.
set doing their Star Trek bit like it's an SNL skit. I was like, why not just go for that? I'm like, but don't be so negative. I said to myself, don't be so negative. It could be the greatest thing ever. Starfleet Academy is looking better and better in terms of like casting and stuff. It's
Yeah. No, I've always been really, really high on Starfleet Academy because
I've always
I
been really, really high all the time. But anyway, go
right.
ahead. Sorry, I had to do that. Sorry.
Okay, it's okay. I've been really high on Starfleet Academy for a while because I've been the one that's been saying I want a sort of, my kind of phrase, the OC in space. Now, I'm not saying that that's what we're going to get, but that's
Oh
the
no, no, no,
type.
no. That's exactly what we're gonna get.
Right,
I think.
right,
I think you're
right,
on point.
right. Now, now again, I'm not saying that we're going to get that, but if we do get that to PJ's, to back up PJ, I would love that because that's what I want. So, you know, but with these announcements that have been coming out about Academy as of late, I've been getting more and more excited. I mean, the thing that really made me stand up and go, "Oh wow, this actually could be great," is the announcement of Holly Hunter being the basically principal of the academy. I was
And
like, this is cool.
she's legend.
Yeah.
She gets off on car crashes. In case you didn't know, David Cronenberg directed her in Crash. I don't even know if David Cronenberg directed Crash. I'm guessing because I've never seen it. It's a car crash movie. It's not the crash that won Best Picture unjustifiedly, unjustly, I should say.
Yeah.
Undeservingly, I should say. Undeservingly.
Yeah.
What a weird Best Picture winner that was. You
Yeah.
ever
That
seen the movie
movie.
Crash from like
Yeah.
2003 or whatever
I
it
can't.
was?
I can't stand that movie.
And it's
I'm like,
like,
really,
why did this win Best Picture?
really,
Why did this was
really?
wow?
Why did it?
What?
Why did this win Best
David
Picture?
Cronenberg's Crash was better than this one.
What?
People, James Spader and Holly Hunter getting sexually aroused by car crashes was more interesting than that movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, David Cronenberg, Canadian director, also cast member of Star Trek Discovery,
Yes. He's
plays
yeah, he's
plays Daniels. Oh,
Daniels, right?
spoiler! If you have
Spoiler. Wah
spoiler,
wah wah.
he's Daniels at the end from
Yeah.
Enterprise.
No, but look, like I got really enthused with Holly Hunter's announcement, and the thing that really solidified, like, okay, they're taking it's Paul Giamatti. Come on, really?
Pig
That's
vomit,
awesome.
yeah, pig
That's
vomit
awesome.
from Private Parts.
Yeah,
That's where we all first got to know Paul Giamatti.
yeah, yeah.
NBC. But anyway,
NBC.
that's an
That is
underrated cult
awesome.
movie, by the way. People don't like whatever you think about Howard Stern. I don't give a fuck about him really personally, but that
Yeah.
movie is good.
Funny enough, I was talking about that movie last night. With
That's such an underrated classic comedy. Like the
yeah,
12-inch kielbasa, and like there's so many things in that fucking movie. The woman having sex with the speaker
yeah.
and
Sex with the
Howard's.
Speaker.
It's
Yep.
like
Yeah.
it's weird
Um,
because it's
Great stuff.
Howard Stern was thought to be some like just vulgar piece of crap by a lot of people.
Mhm.
And even in that movie, they're like, why do people listen to him? Well, half the people listen to him because they like him, and half the people listen to him because they fucking hate him, and they want to know
Hate
what
him.
they want to know what offensive thing is going to offend them next.
Yeah.
Like these
I
people who
mean,
watch Netflix comedy specials just to go on Twitter and be like, "My original joke was you can't joke about this, you can't joke." I was like, why you keep actively looking for these things? Like, see a psychiatrist.
yeah.
We all can't
No,
do that. I get it. But anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
no, it's okay. No, I listen. I happen to be in the camp of the people who really enjoy Howard Stern's sense of humor. I listened to him late in my high school career, and then I listened to him all throughout college. So I'm a big Howard Stern fan. So, um, my first exposure to Paul Giamatti was in Private Parts, where you see him as Big Vomit, and yeah, it's great stuff.
There was some uncensored video that was going around years ago of like he would tape his show at one point and like there was this video going around of like contests with boobs and stuff.
Yep.
And there was there was like a small Johnson kind of contest for dudes, and that was part of the video. And I was
Yeah.
like, wow. And I did this before I knew anything about him. And then when I moved to Ontario, he was on just the radio. I was like,
Uh-huh.
oh, this is. But I'd seen his movie and shit. Didn't know fuck all about him. Only ever saw him on like David Letterman and stuff. The only thing in Canada, from my point of view as a kid, Howard Stern not having his radio show and really knowing him through other means, was that he would go on talk shows and have like two women kiss or two men kiss just like to shock people. And it's just so funny that that was something that was so provocative just in the 90s.
Yep.
And he's like, hey, I'll just bring on two guys in thongs and they'll kiss each other, or two women. And it's like generally, I know growing up, like the women were more accepted. Okay, it's as a staunch Christian or Catholic or whatever the fuck your religion, I'm against it, but okay, two women's not bad. It was weird, right? Like,
Yeah. Very
as soon
weird.
as two men do it, I'm getting angry. It's like, okay, Jesus Christ. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Howard.
It was only
Howard.
30 years ago, dude. Isn't that fucked?
Yeah, that's
It's
crazy.
still bad now, though.
Yeah,
It's
it's
still
crazy.
bad now.
It's
It's
crazy.
still an ignorant kind of world out there. But Howard Stern is like so not controversial now compared
Yeah. No.
to
No.
everything
Howard.
else.
Yeah. Howard Stern is considered team.
I don't know how we
By
got on
now.
this Howard Stern rant, but let's stop talking about Star Trek at San Diego Comic Con and the rest. What else? Just tell me. I don't know what you thought or what you heard, but what else in that weekend stood out to you, announcement wise,
Uh.
from anything else? Anything else?
Oh well. I don't know if this is. I don't know if they've released a trailer by now, but I got really excited by the panel for the Silo season 2 coming out.
On Apple, the show on Apple TV,
Yes, show on Apple TV, and I
starring
liked.
Rebecca Ferguson, by the way.
Yeah, lovely Rebecca Ferguson. I'm a huge Rebecca Ferguson fan. And I really enjoy the panel. And so I went online looking for like a trailer or whatever, and they didn't have anything. I'm like, really? You did a panel at Comic Con, you didn't release your. Ugh.
You're a fan of Kevin
Anyway,
Smith. Did you
yeah.
see his trailer for the 4:30 movie?
No, I did not. I have not yet.
I won't. It's basically the story is about. It's set back in the 80s, maybe.
Okay.
I'm assuming the 80s. It looks like the 80s. Uh, and it's about just going to the 4:30 movie or whatever.
Okay.
And the main character's trying to like impress this girl. It's like a classic cliche kind of love story thing,
Okay.
romantic comedy. Uh, but at the end, Justin Long is in a scene,
Of course
and
he
the
is.
dude's like talking about the end of Rocky, but he refers to the end of Rocky as the climax of Rocky, and Justin Long is like, "Oh, he climaxed!" It's
Oh
just
my
so
god.
stupid. It's just
Idiot.
it's so Kevin Smithy. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I want to see this. Just because
Yeah.
I am a fan of Kevin Smith. I
Yeah.
don't care what he does, but there's a clever joke in the trailer where it's like director of Mallrats, this, that, Clerks, and then it says probably Clerks 4 at the very
Prob-
bottom. And I'm like,
Interesting.
cool. I like that.
Yeah, interesting.
I will
But
get
if he
very high
does,
and watch this movie if it comes out in
yeah,
theaters.
but if he does Clerks 4, he has to put Harley Quinn Smith as one of the clerks. That is my that he has to do that. He has to.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah.
uh
Of course.
Speaking of Kevin Smith, I did not see the trailer by the way, but I'll go seek it out after the show. Speaking of Kevin Smith, I saw Yoga Hosers a couple of days ago. I
For
like
the
that
first
movie.
time?
No, I've seen it
Oh.
before. I like that. I like that movie a lot. There are things about it, internal things, that I'm like, I
Austin
don't know
Butler's
about
in that movie.
yeah, I don't know about this, but I really, really enjoy it. I mean, come on. Sorry about I can't sound like
Yeah, it's
I
like,
can't.
sorry about that.
Sorry
Sorry
about
about that.
that. Yeah, I love
And
it.
Kevin Smith is the
Come on,
little
bratwurst guy.
the bratwurst fucker, and it was
Yeah,
the
the
first time he ever
bratwurst
had to shave
fucker.
his
Yeah.
beard. I remember that.
Yeah.
Like, Kevin Smith is beardless, The audience has left us now that we've gotten off the topic of Star
Yeah,
Trek,
sorry,
but they're
that's
missing
okay.
the best part,
They're
which
missing
is
the
we're
best
about to
parts.
talk about.
Yeah. No, and
Before,
the other
no,
thing
go
that I
ahead, go
found,
ahead.
I might cue you up here. The other thing that I found great was the Marvel panel at Comic Con. I just loved almost a lot of stuff about that panel as well.
Nothing exciting happened there. What are you talking about?
Absolutely nothing happening. Nothing exciting happened about. Absolutely nothing.
Can I tell you an interesting story? You were probably doing the same thing, I'm going to guess. I
Sure.
was listening to John Campia's live stream of the
Yep.
coverage of the Marvel stuff, and he
Yeah, I
was
was.
getting pissy, dude. He was getting
It
like,
was.
dude, this is that you're going to talk about 3 movies we already fucking know about. And Ray's like, Ray's
Yes.
the eternal optimist, and I suppose, And then Ray's like, you know what? I saw the Doctor, and I tuned out of the live stream after, like, because I didn't think anything was going to happen.
Yeah.
And then I see on like YouTube some clip Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom. I'm like, oh, one of these fake ass videos that get
No, it
recommended,
was a
which is
fake.
not real. You click on it, it's not real because somebody reported it like a week before or something. I was like, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
But then like I saw, oh, it is real, and then I watched the clip of the Russo brothers being like,
Oh
Victor
my god.
Von Doom. We gotta know Victor Von Doom, Avengers Doomsday. I saw the picture of Avengers Doomsday. I thought it was a joke. I said,
Yeah.
what? No, that's because I knew Secret Wars was a thing. It was the second one. It was the second part. That was always going to be Secret Wars. They were going to keep it that way. But Kang Dynasty, they were going to change. And they were going to be like, well, what do we call it now? And what do we do now that we're not going to use Jonathan Majors or
Mhm.
that character? Well, fuck it. Let's bring back Robert Downey Jr. as
As Doom.
goddamn Victor Von fucking Dicky Boo.
Dicky Boo. That's funny. Um, I listen. Like you, PJ, I was listening to John's stream, but I gave up at a point too. And a friend sent me a DM over Twitter, and he just shows me a picture of Robert Downey Jr. standing at Hall H with a green cloak, and I go, "Wait a minute, what?" And and below the image that my friend sent, he goes, "Doom," and I'm like, "Get the fuck out of here! Are you kidding me?" So I ran to YouTube and I found the a clip of somebody recording in Hall H as it happened, and I lost my mind because I was like, "Holy shit!" John was talking about this like a week ago, and now it happened.
I believe Jeff Snyder. Jeff
Yeah, yeah.
Snyder was the
Jeff
one who
Snyder
broke
broke it.
it, broke
Yeah.
the scoop. But a lot of people were like, I don't even believe that. Sounds too ridiculous. What? But Robert Downey Jr. in the past was like, in interviews, like, hey man, do you think you're gonna come back as Tony Stark? It's like, and Robert Downey Jr.'s always had like a mature kind of attitude about it. I find he's like, well, listen, pal, the character's dead. Like it's over. So he's very like Tony Stark. He had his run. I played him, and it's done. But there was never the however. Like he never
Mhm.
was like, but however, if they offered me a different character in another universe and a dump fucking truck of money backed up to my house and just
Yeah,
fucking like
yeah.
the piles of cash just like crashing through my fucking patio windows.
Yeah,
Uh,
gold bars just
gold,
back up just
like the gold bars rain from the heavens. The Russo brothers coming back too. That's a big deal. We kind of
Yeah,
knew that was hinted at, but
yeah,
they're back directing the next 2 Avengers films,
yeah.
and
And the
the
other
Fantastic Four is going to start to shoot. So, do you think Robert Downey Jr. is going to be involved as a character, Doctor Doom, if not in the movie as a main antagonist? Because I think they got Galactus as their thing, but they're definitely going to do like an Iron Man original kind of like hint at post credit Fantastic Four. Somebody walks into a bar where Reed
uh,
Richards or some fucker is drinking, and they're like,
no, I think
"My
no,
name
I
is
think
my name is Victor Von Doom. Nice to meet you,
yeah. I
Reed
think
Richards."
yeah.
Or something. I don't know.
I th- no, I think that I have no idea if the main villain in the Fantastic Four film is going to be Galactus or not, but I do have a strong belief that there will be an end credit tag at the end of that movie, and it will either show Robert Downey Jr. as Victor Von Doom or will hint at Victor Von Doom coming eventually. I have, I have, I'm almost 100% on that, on something like that actually happening.
Victor Von Fuckface
Doom, Victor Von Doom.
back as you know. I don't know. I'm not saying
Yeah,
Robert Downey Jr.
yeah,
is a fuckface. It's
yeah.
just I associate Doctor Doom now with a particular character in the internet, and I always think like, yeah, that's a
Yeah.
great villain. That's someone easy to kind of like get
Yeah,
riled
and
about.
also,
He's like,
the thing about, I'm sorry, the thing about the panel that got me really excited was finally seeing the cast of the Fantastic Four. Like, oh my God, there they are after years of speculating who the hell these characters going to be. There they are, and they start shooting in like a day or so from the time of this recording.
I'm kind of offended that they're all white, but anyway, no, Pedro Pascal isn't. But anyway, I'm joking. Uh,
Okay.
so there's going to be people like this
No, it's
cast,
all right.
but it's like a retro '60s.
Uh,
I wonder what like retro '60s, future 60s, alternate universe. What they're doing with this movie. It's
um,
like, will it be a Jetsons kind of like
I
world where like everything's kind of like we're all happy and on fucking like happy pills or something, or it's like what I'm saying, where it's like it's not
yeah,
like Idiocracy, but it's just like
something like that.
what's that movie where everybody's nice in the future? Oh, Demolition Man, where
Yeah,
like
Demolition Man.
everybody's kind of soft.
Yeah.
It's like we don't swear.
Uh,
Not that they're
Have
giving out
yeah, yeah.
fines,
Have
but
a
Wesley
pleasant
Snipes comes into
day.
it and he's like, "What the
Yeah,
fuck?" And then they're
yeah.
like, "You are fined. You are fined. You are fined." He's like, "Shut up!" And blast the fucking thing.
Yeah, that's a that's a great movie, folks. But I do think the Fantastic Four is going to have a, a Captain America First Avenger kind of thing. I think I think 95% of the movie is going to be in the 60s. But I do think I have nothing to back this up at all, so don't quote me. I do think that something is going to happen to propel the Fantastic Four from the 60s to the current time period of the MCU. I
Yeah,
I think
they're definitely not done with this multiverse stuff. I mean, obviously,
yeah,
it's gonna be
yeah.
a continuing thing, an excuse to merge worlds and all this stuff.
Mm.
Uh, if you want to, before we go, do you want to talk about Deadpool and Wolverine? You saw it.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. I
You
do you
thought it
want
was
to go
crap,
first?
didn't you?
Do you want to go first?
Uh, it wasn't exactly what I expected. I didn't expect so much of it to take place in the void, but I do. They can't. What keeps it going is the chemistry between Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. The song cues, like,
Oh, so good.
uh, I got chills. They're multiplying, like stabbing each other in the close quarters car kind of situation. Uh, the villain wasn't that interesting, but the creepiest thing, the thing that she did in the movie, I just want to jump to it, when she puts her hand in your like head and she like
Brain.
moves her fingers around your skull. I'm like, oh, it just,
No.
dude, it made me like cringe in the great in the best kind of like, this is something that would creep me out in a fucking horror movie kind of way. But anyway, the setup is Deadpool. It begins with him digging up the corpse of Logan.
I
And
lost
it's
my
like,
mind over. Oh my god.
oh, okay. You're not going to desecrate the legacy, but you're just going to desecrate the legacy. And it's all
Of
comedy.
course you are.
It's one of these movies where it's just fun. You don't have to worry about like, okay, is Hugh Jackman in the MCU now? It's like, none of this will matter. That scene that they show with like the foreshadowing of Deadpool dying in Thor's arms, that cameo,
Yeah.
one of many, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't even care if that happens, if they live up to it. Like, how Discovery had to
Hmm?
live up to Calypso at the end.
Right.
I'm like, I don't care. Like, it's an Elseworlds kind of thing to me. It doesn't. Uh, but it does take a lot from Loki. They even mention like Loki episode, like season 1 or season 2, episode 5 or something like that. Or
They do, yeah,
season 1,
yeah,
episode 5. Like they mention
yeah.
specific episodes referring to what's going on in the void
Uh-huh.
now. But basically, opens with him like using the bones of Logan to fend off the TVA agents. But it all starts with, this is what's confusing to me, and I don't really care, but it's still confusing. Uh, he's interviewing with Happy Hogan.
Hmm.
Okay, the Fox and the Marvel Universe are separate. They're on different Earths or realities. Am I right?
Uh,
So was
yeah,
Deadpool just like crossing over and getting an interview, and like how are the
no,
people in the X-Men universe aware of the Avengers?
I mean,
You know what I
look,
mean? It's like, what?
well,
I don't
yeah,
know.
like I mean, like our favorite, well, like one of our favorite YouTube personalities always said about the Fox universe, continuity, schmontinuity. So I believe that since Disney has Fox at this point, like I believe you shouldn't concern yourself about how it works. I
Yeah.
would just accept it. Um, but out of all the cameos that we knew about and all the cameos that we sort of theorized, nobody expected Happy Hogan to be in the movie. So when I saw that, I was like really surprised, and I thought that his bit with Deadpool was both heartfelt and hilarious because
Yeah. And
like
it's heartfelt and it's sad because he gets rejected. And
he
I
does.
guess he goes back to his Fox universe. It's so weird. It doesn't make any sense, but who cares? And he's like, I'm gonna hang it up and I'm gonna work at a car dealership with a big dick guy,
Peter,
Peter.
yeah, Peter.
And it's like he staples the thing and he's having a birthday party. He's with all of his friends. He's living his life, right? He's like,
Yep.
I'm finally happy. I'm not with Vanessa, which sucks, I guess. She's like, I
It's
don't want you. You're all burnt. You're all weird. It's like you're like, I don't know what her deal is, but like she just can't be with him. Whatever. Who cares?
yeah,
But the
yeah,
point
no,
is that the TVA
yeah.
comes and they're like, you did all that stuff in part 2. You're in trouble. We got to prune you, or whatever they got to do with him. But they don't have to prune him. They just want to. The Paradox, the
But,
TVA director dude, who's basically like Owen Wilson's character in the Loki series.
mhm.
He's the movie version of him. Uh, I think in the comics they're interchangeable, but in some version. But he's like, you know what? I need you to do stuff for me, and your universe. You can't go back to your universe, by the way, because it's. Well, I'm gonna destroy it with this device. And Deadpool's like, well, fuck that. And the whole reason why his Fox universe is collapsing is because
Because Logan's dead.
Logan's dead, and if your anchor being dies,
Your universe
I'm
died.
like, none of this means like it's all
It's
gobbledygook.
fine. It's
But I took it as like Wolverine being the anchor Marvel character in
I like
terms of
that.
historically, in like he debuted 24 years ago. Like he's been
Mhm.
playing this role for 24, almost 25 years. I think he's done now. It's the longest time an actor has ever played a superhero character
Mhm.
ever, and that much.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton has a spot in that thing too, but his movies were way far and few between, and much less.
Mhm.
But like he's up there too as one of these guys who's played the same comic book character for like 20 to 30 years, whatever. But Hugh Jackman has done it the most. There's no question about that. And to see him in this movie as not the Logan, they're not retconning anything. They're saying multiverse bullshit, different guy. And I like that when Deadpool's like, "Fuck this, I'm gonna go." He runs into short Deadpool. I mean, short Wolverine.
He
Where he's
resonates.
like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just joke
No, go
after
ahead.
joke." But
Yeah.
then Henry Cavill, and I didn't expect that. He runs into the
I
Henry
love
Cavill
it.
version of Wolverine. He makes a
I
joke
loved it.
about how DC screwed him over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look. I I had so much fun with Deadpool and Wolverine. I laughed so hard that my grandfather, who watched it with me, along with a bunch of other sweaty nerds, told me to stop laughing. He was like, "They're gonna throw you at the feet," and I was like, "Dude, if they're gonna throw me out, they're gonna have to throw out all these other nerds behind me because the theater was packed." It was just so good. Uh,
Yeah,
so-
the audience I was with was pretty enthusiastic. I laughed at some things that nobody laughed at. I got a big laugh at the line, "Where's the intimacy coordinator?"
yeah, no, you know
And
what?
nobody else laughed, and I'm like, "Oh, weird." Okay.
No, you know what? I laughed at that one too, and nobody laughed either.
Mm. It's like
Yeah,
little inside
L-
Hollywood jokes
yeah,
throughout too.
little inside Hollywood jokes. All
So
I always get.
he finds the version of Wolverine that got drunk in a bar and let all of his friends die. That's pretty much the
Yeah,
gist of it. And like
Mhm.
everybody hates him. But he's so downtrodden that like he doesn't even resist Deadpool. He literally drinks himself into into a passing out, and Deadpool takes him. Paradox informs him, this Wolverine ain't shit. He let everybody down. So it's a redemption arc kind of deal.
Yeah. No, I mean
So anyway, what I was gonna say, the Paradox prunes both of them, and they go to the void, and that's where a lot of the movie takes place.
yeah, and the Void, aka the Mad Max.
Yeah, they even make a Furiosa
Landscape.
reference.
Yeah, they do.
He,
I know, but go ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna say the scene where he faces Sabretooth.
Yeah,
And Deadpool's getting him all hyped up. He's like, "Yeah,
yeah.
come on, I have the tiger."
Drop the
What I was like,
pound.
and he literally Wolverine just easily beheads him.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
Deadpool holds up Sabretooth's head. And he's like, "I have the head of Furiosa." I can't. I'm paraphrasing,
yeah,
but he's like, "I have the head of your master, Furiosa." And then
yeah.
he calls Wolverine she, and like she will do what is as I say or something. I don't know. It's just so like Deadpool is just constantly. Even the joke about like Johnny Storm. By the way, Chris
So good.
Evans cameo is Johnny Storm.
That was
The way
so
he gets killed, and Deadpool's like, "You got the fucking guy killed, you asshole."
good.
He's like, "I'm still grieving." He's like, it's like, it's
Yeah,
never, it's never ending to where characters in the movie like,
yeah.
shut up. Anyway,
Shut up. Yeah. No, but but the best bit about Chris Evans, because the joke is set up as, oh, it's Captain America, but it's a variant Captain America. And there's this point where Deadpool goes, he's gonna say, oh my god, he's gonna say it. Deadpool stands back and he goes, "Flame on." At that point, I lost my mind because look, I know they're bad, I know they don't work, but I'm kind of a fan of the Team Story and Fantastic Fours. I know they don't work. I know they don't work. But to see Johnny Storm again for just a brief moment in this movie,
did you
it's
see the
so
post
cool.
credit scene?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, with Deadpool doctoring the tape to actually make it look like Johnny Storm was a dick and was saying all those things about.
I think he was just showing us that he really did say all those things that Deadpool said he said in that scene, because in the scene, like it cuts in the actual scene where Deadpool, Wolverine, and Johnny
Storm.
Storm.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Johnny Cage for some reason,
No,
but
it's
Johnny
okay.
Storm is I was like, I was thinking Johnny
It's-
Cage, but anyway.
Yeah.
By the way, what's his name from The Boys? Carl Urban is playing him in Mortal Kombat 2.
Oh, cool.
Um, but yeah, they cut away from that, and then Deadpool is later. Like he said this, like very specific things,
Okay,
and you're like, well, we didn't hear that as an audience, so maybe Deadpool is just making that up to fuck with him or to get him killed for whatever reason. But
yeah,
it turns out, like, I think
maybe
the
he
post
did.
credit scene is like, no, here's the tape of the actual. He said all of those things. I said he said those things, and anyway, it's pretty brutal. The villain in
Yeah.
the movie when they go to the void is Charles Xavier's twin, who got pruned as an infant, it seems,
Mhm.
and she's all messed up. Like she's just typical villain, and
Yeah, I mean,
It's
look,
like so. I was just waiting for them to get out of the void, but they give you all of this fan servicey stuff in there to keep you like I don't know, act like pacified.
happy.
Uh, but Blade, played by Wesley Snipes, shows up with Jennifer Garner's Elektra,
Hmm?
with Channing Tatum's fucking Gambit, whose accent is in fact his accent as an actor in that movie, in those scenes. I'm just guessing, it's purposely terrible
It is.
because
He's
for
not that
anybody
bad.
who's not Cajun, doesn't have a natural Cajun accent, to try and do one, it always sounds like I guarantee it. It just sounds weird,
Yeah.
and it's like the voice actor who does Gambit in the X-Men '97. What the
Seven.
I don't know if it's the same guy, but the previous series, that sounds like they know what they're saying. They know what they sound like. Channing Tatum doesn't sound like he's knows what he's doing. So Deadpool pointing it out every 2 seconds, like, "Who's your dialect coach?" And it's like that accent is ridiculous. It's
Who's
like
your
when you hear
dwarf?
real people with real Cajun accents or people who can do it very well, it sounds very cool and authentic. But you remember Ninja Turtles back in the day? They had a crocodile villain or something,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
his catchphrase was "I guarantee," and he was from
Yep.
Louisiana. And anyway,
Yeah.
but for Channing Tatum to do that and fail at it, and then Deadpool point out was funny. But also in the end, that fight scene with the shaky cam and you can't really see shit. The few things that you could see with Gambit were cool, like his
Really cool, man.
yeah.
No,
But
I
other than
mean,
that, it was like, get me out of this void. I want to see the end.
but
It wasn't as
the
good as the
best.
first two Deadpool movies, I got to admit, but I was still entertained. It's not like it was bad.
I have to be honest with you. I do not like Deadpool 2, and it's only because of one reason.
Josh Brolin,
One, nope.
Cable,
I I don't like I
Negasonic
no
Teenager.
no I don't like that. I don't like Russell. I hate that character so much. I'm like, oh God, I want
Russell, who's
he
Russell?
the kid that the kid that he tries to save in Deadpool 2.
Oh, the little New Zealand kid.
Yeah, I don't like that
Oh, I forgot
character.
about him. Yeah, yeah.
I oh my God, I hate
You
so
know, he's from
yeah,
New Zealand, man. He sounds like
yeah,
Taika Waititi.
yeah. Russell, no, Megasonic Teenage, what is Megasonic Teenage, whatever. She's great.
Warhead,
Yukio
whatever,
is
yeah.
yeah, Yukio is great. Colossus is great. Everybody in that movie else is great, but that movie is ruined because of that kid and that character. Um, like my favorite joke in Deadpool and Wolverine is the joke where Wesley Snipes takes the big, he takes a big rocket launcher, and before he shoots it, he says, "I'm the one and only Blade." And then they do a smash cut over to they do a smash cut over to Deadpool's face, and he goes,
Yeah.
I love that joke because I feel that the writers are referencing the fact that Marvel can't get their shit together for the new Blade.
Yeah, well, yeah, there there's a lot of pokes at Marvel, like the part early in the film where he grabs the camera and he's like, "Fuck you, Fox, I'm going to Disney."
Yeah, suck it,
You know,
Fox.
suck it,
It's so great.
Fox.
It's so great. It's so great. But
But those
also this
characters you mentioned in the second movie, they're all sidelined in the third one. There's no room for
yeah,
them. But
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
we must focus on Deadpool and Wolverine,
Wolverine.
and other than that, cameos, cameos, cameos,
The cameos.
and it was like Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, where like at the time you're like, oh, cool, but it's like it lacks the substance that the previous movies or the heart. Like I remember
Uh,
feeling something in the last two movies, like actually feeling
yeah, no, I mean,
like like an emotional thing. You know, it was mainly because of him and Vanessa. But in this one,
right.
like I don't care about them,
Hmm.
but I like
No, but
Wolverine. I like Logan.
yeah, no, I'm so glad that you brought up the emotional stakes uh of Deadpool 2 because the other reason why I hated Deadpool 2 is because half of at the beginning of that movie, I thought they did the most stupidest fucking thing that they ever could have done. They killed Vanessa, and I'm like, I don't like.
You hurt Vanessa.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah,
Kingpin, but never
yeah,
mind. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah. I'm like, you killed one of the best characters in I was pissed for the whole goddamn movie. I'm like, if they don't fix this movie, I'm gonna give it a 0 rating. But I'm so happy that at the very end they fucking Deadpool finally fixed it. But that really took the wind out of myself for that movie. But I will agree with you that the romantic core of Deadpool 2 was so good. And this movie, although being good and fun and great, didn't have as much as Deadpool 1 did and Deadpool 2 had.
Yeah, and you know when they're in the void in part three, and there's kind of like a not a final climax, but the climax of that void part of the story,
Right.
where they have I forget her name now, the
Kid-
female antagonist who's the
Yeah. Cassandra Nova.
no, Cassandra Nova,
Yes,
and they
Cassandra.
have her, and Wolverine's like, Charles wouldn't want me to kill you. I'm like, dude, this
Dude,
argument is like moot because you just
Charles
killed
is
people
dead.
in. I mean, I don't know much about you as a particular Wolverine in your universe, how violent you are, but admittedly, you did go on a fucking murdering rampage. So,
Yeah, he
like,
did.
not killing this particular person and trying to take the moral stance is just a plot device
Mhm.
to get her to be like, okay, and then like,
Yeah.
I'll send you to your own thing and you do what you gotta do, but I wanna get my hands on this device and destroy universes until there's nothing left but the void. Wahahaha. And it's like I can't really complain about this, I don't think. Just because this is a villain in a Deadpool movie.
Yeah.
She's gonna come with all of those tropes about
Of course
like
you.
I just senselessly want to destroy multiple realities. It's like, okay.
Why not?
I'm getting a headache. I don't even think I can care anymore about so many realities in your
Why not?
fictional fucking universe. Uh, just as long as you give me good stories with interesting characters, I don't care who crosses over and who does what. But the whole ending with there was this shot at the end when they're fighting the multiple Deadpools. It's like a side pan. Was very well done.
Yeah.
Uh, the final like when they're holding each other, Deadpool and Wolverine,
Yeah. Yeah.
to
And they're
connect the circuit,
the circuit.
and Wolverine's shit comes off, and
Yeah.
like they even have a thing where like people are ogling Hugh Jackman at the end of that movie, like like you work,
Yeah.
you know. It's I thought
Yeah.
that was
And
funny.
Deadpool's like, put on your fucking shirt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really. Come on now, you're making all us guys look bad.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, but
that was fun. It was fun stuff.
yeah. No, but Cassandra Nova to me, she was serviceable. There was pretty much nothing to her except what PJ just mentioned, mustache twirling villain. But it's all right. It's fine. That was fine.
The creepiest thing about her was the putting her
The
fingers in your
hands.
skull type of thing. And she does this
Yeah.
thing where she puts her foot index, and that just to me alone was like, oh god, I can feel
Oh
it.
God, no.
But there's one funny scene where Pyro,
Yeah.
uh, she's gonna do it to Pyro, and Pyro's like, stop, just ask me and I'll tell you. You don't need to like I will tell you the truth. Like
Yeah, yeah.
don't put your
Don't do
fingers
that.
in my skull. And
Don't
it's like
put
all
fingers
right,
in my skull.
that's the
I
more memorable stuff in
Yeah.
terms of like her
But
character.
also, a quick word about Pyro. That's the same actor from X-Men 2. So
Yes, you
just
get all
yeah,
these,
yeah,
and
yeah.
Sabretooth from X-Men 1.
Yep.
Not
Yeah.
Lieb Schreiber, who is I guess
Nope.
an alternate
Alternate
variant.
variant of a of Sabretooth. Yeah. No.
But it ends
Well,
with them saving the multiverse or whatever,
yep.
universe, whatever the fuck.
Yeah, and
Uh,
then and then taking shawarma, which I thought was a real cool joke
mhm.
too.
And what's it? Paradox gets his justice and whatnot. Everything is back to normal. And
Yep.
then I like at the end where Wolverine's kind of like there with Logan and friends as a family.
Yeah.
You get to include one last joke with the blind woman about like I'm shaking like an angry vibrator. I need my, I need my stuff. And it's like, okay, we get one
Uh,
little joke at the end, and it's nice, but to me, it was like no promises. I
no.
don't consider any of this like. It's gonna be so weird, dude. If you got like Avengers Doomsday, listen, hear me out. You got Avengers Doomsday, which they say Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars are gonna have all the characters. All the characters. Miss Marvel, all the people from the TV shows and movie, everyone. Daredevil, Kingpin, everyone.
Yeah, everybody,
Apparently.
everyone.
Every fucking one. Including Deadpool.
How are they gonna do it?
I think the only way you can have Deadpool in the Avengers movies where he's just like real world funny.
Yeah,
He's it's no self-referential stuff at all. He's just making jokes in context of the story that's happening.
sure.
He's not
Mhm.
winking at the camera saying like, because you can't, once you bring Deadpool stuff into an Avengers movie,
Mhm.
it doesn't work. It just doesn't
Yeah,
work.
no, that's
That
gonna.
you can get away with all that shit in his movies
Mhm.
because ultimately it's parody. You can say it's canon, you can say it's not. It doesn't actually matter. But when you got
Right.
proper MCU movies, it's almost like Deadpool is an MCU movie, but it's an offshoot. I don't know.
Mhm.
Hopefully, going forward, they don't. They find a balance between those worlds.
Yeah, if Deadpool is indeed going to be in Avengers Secret War, I do believe that they'll have to tone him down significantly, and I don't think that he's going to do uh the cheeky Deadpool thing, like breaking the fourth wall and talking to the audience as the movie's going on.
Hopefully not. It'd be so
Yeah,
serious. Like Doctor Doom was like, "I'm gonna put a shield of armor around the world." Haha, dun dun dun. Everybody's like, "Oh no, oh no!" And Deadpool's like, "Oh shit!" Right into the camera, and it's like, "No, dude,
no, yeah,
no, you ruined it." No, okay,
yeah.
but
It
yeah,
really can't comment.
thank you,
Yeah.
Marcelo, for indulging
No,
me in this long and arduous
no, thank
conversation
you.
about San Diego Comic Con. Who gives a shit about what happens there? Nobody, right?
We do,
I do.
we do.
So new Star Trek series trailers for Lower Decks and Section 31. Section
Mm,
31. Um, Also, the biggest thing I gotta say that overshadowed everything is of course the announcement that Robert Downey Jr. is returning to the MCU as Victor Von Dicky Fuck,
yeah,
and I'm neutral on it. I'm jokey. Might seem passive aggressive on the issue.
yeah.
Like I don't know. I This Marvel stuff is all very hit and miss at this point.
Ye
In a couple of years, it would have been going on for like 20 years. I think 20 years is a shelf life is a good like goal for movie franchises. Of course, some have gone on for more than that. Star Trek,
Mhm.
James Bond,
Yeah, Mission Impossible 30.
Mission Impossible.
Yep. No, but look, I'm very, very interested to see how Marvel is going to handle the Victor Von Doom situation. Because I'm figuring, are they going to play it straight, or are they going to say, like I said before, is this going to be a Tony? Is this going to be a Tony Stark variant that's going to become Doctor Doom? So I'm not neutral, but I'm very, very curious on how they're going to handle it.
My guess is that this version of Victor Von Doom, played by Robert Downey Jr., exists in the futuristic 60s version that they're
Oh, the Fantastic
creating
Four.
where everybody's white. No, I'm just joking. I'm joking.
Sorry.
Everybody's so white in the
It's
'60s futuristic version thing.
it's all right.
Where's the diversity?
Oh,
Why isn't there diversity anywhere? It's nowhere. No, I'm joking.
it's no.
Uh,
It,
you know what's funny about that argument of like people complaining about
what?
it? It's like it's only an excuse when something's bad,
Yep, that's right.
and it's never really the main points of like why things are bad. Most things that are bad that people complain about is really nothing to do with the casting. It's usually to do with the writing.
Yeah.
More than anything, people were like, it's not the story. Like Acolyte is garbage. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
Andor's
I was.
good. Andor's really good because it is well written and well directed. It seems
Mhm.
like, to me, the foundation of a good show or movie
It's
is the
writing.
direction and the writing, and then
Hello.
cast and everything else is secondary. You can still have you got to do that well, but the story is the foundation. Funny enough, uh,
Hmm.
but uh, other than Fantastic Four, what is there that's coming in the Marvel Universe besides the Avengers movies? Certainly ain't Blade.
Oh God.
Blade's due out when? Like
Oh
a
shit.
year or
Yeah.
two,
10,
whatever.
20
So we're
years.
like,
I, f- I forgot. We forgot about this. How do you feel about? Well, how do you feel about the Falcon movie that's coming out? I'm like, uh, he's not. How do you feel?
uh, I liked Falcon and Winter Soldier. I thought it was all right.
Yeah.
Um, I like Harrison Ford. I like Anthony Mackie.
Yeah.
I don't know anything else about this movie. The most interesting thing to me is John Carlos Esposito as the villain, the
Right.
Serpent, and what they seem to be doing is going back on the original idea for the third Captain America movie, which was going to be with Steve Rogers, which was Serpent Society, and I think they abandoned that for Civil War and then said that we'll trick people or we'll falsely name the third Captain America movie Serpent Society, and then say like, no, it's Civil War instead. But now they're like
Right.
going back and like,
Now we're
let's
gonna
have a
do
villain
Serpent Society.
who's like the Serpent Society leader or whatever
Yeah.
he is.
And now, yeah, and
I'm
now,
like, yeah,
now
John Parrish. I did see. Remember we talked about Parrish like months back. Like, that's
we,
going to be
we did.
great because he's in it.
We
Not a good
did.
show.
Nope.
You
Nope.
know what? And you know why? Because fucking directing and story and writing is key. And it doesn't matter if the Chicken Man, Giancarlo Esposito, one of the greatest actors there is,
Villain. Yeah.
who was absent from the latest season of The Boys, by the way. He'll be back. He's got to be back for the last season. But anyway,
It might
um,
be. No, but
so he's the only really interesting part. Like this villain could be something, and the fact that Anthony Mackie is a non superpowered Captain America, the challenges that will bring to him, and like the technology that he has to rely on that maybe like Steve Rogers didn't necessarily have to rely on.
right.
Like Steve Rogers could literally just run through walls. Anthony
Right.
Mackie's uh, Falcon, now Captain America character, can't do that. Bucky Barnes is missing too. Him and Sebastian Stan had good chemistry in the show, but Sebastian
Yeah.
Stan is going to be in Thunderbolts, so we didn't say that.
Yes.
We didn't talk about that, but
Yeah. I'm. Yeah. I don't know how I feel about Captain America because I was kind of lukewarm on Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I thought it was okay, but I didn't think it was. I thought it was nothing to write home about. I don't like the idea of passing down superhero monikers to other people who the other people aren't.
I
So
think the
when I look at Anthony Mackie, I never think Captain America. I think Anthony Mackie is the
Falcon.
Falcon. I'm like, but yeah, he will. For me personally, there will be only one. There's only one Captain America, and that's Steve Rogers. It is not.
I like with Black Panther. I don't mind if the superhero mantle is taken up by different characters in the universe, because if you're really unhappy with it,
Yeah.
then you just wait a few years and it'll get rebooted. It doesn't matter.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But it's it's not only him that has to carry the movie. It's like, well, what really is it about? And it's about an older version of Captain America trying to get revenge on the president. The president, played by Harrison Ford, who is replacing William Hurt as Thunderbolt Ross,
Dumbo Ross. Yeah.
uh, in the movie
Mm.
becomes Hulk. And
Mm.
there is a scene that they showed where he's giving a press conference in front of the White House, and
Yep.
somehow he's triggered, and
Mhm.
he turns into Red Hulk in front of everybody, and it's like all chaos.
Oh shit.
That is something you're gonna
That's
have to show in the next trailer.
yeah.
In order
Definitely.
for people to be like, I'm interested in this, it's not to say that Anthony Mackie isn't a draw.
No, he
It's just
is.
that
You
it's just
know,
that the star the main actors in all of these movies, minus say Robert Downey Jr. Maybe
Mhm.
Chris Evans got his star, but like he doesn't really sell movies. Chris Evans is not like
Yeah.
a leading guy who's selling out movies and shit. Like he's not.
Mhm.
It's and he agreed with somebody who said about like I don't know, it was Quentin, somebody director said, I think it was Quentin Tarantino. It's not the actors that are the stars of these movies, it's the characters. It's the
Right.
first time where the characters usurp the actor. So like no matter who really plays it, you get Michael Douglas showing up in Ant-Man. Does it really matter that Michael Douglas is in this shit now? Does it really matter that like Mads Mikkelsen, who was like considered a really good actor, he just came off Hannibal and shit, everybody loves him.
Right.
He's in Doctor Strange now as the villain.
Right.
It's like, if you're really into the comic book characters, it's like, who cares who's playing Spider-Man as long as they do a good job. I didn't know who Andrew Garfield was. Didn't know who the hell Andrew Garfield was.
Mhm.
And like, he did good, except in that
He
second
did
movie.
a
It was
good.
really weird in the second
Right.
movie.
Mhm.
But Tobey Maguire, I knew who he was. I knew who Tom Holland was because that movie with the flood with I forget what it
Uh,
was.
the incredible with Obi-Wan in it. God damn it, I
The
forgot the name
flooding
of it.
waters of Wisconsin.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
no,
yeah.
we're getting tired. Well, we're gonna end it there, but before we go, just tell the folks out there what you're doing on your channel, Marcelo.
Yeah, yeah, guys. If you want to come and see more of the stuff that I do, I have a YouTube channel of my own. It's called Balloon Head Productions. I have reviews for Star Trek: Strange New World seasons 1 and 2. I also do live watch-alongs for Dawson's Creek and Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and I also do discussion series for the first season of For All Mankind. Those are going on right now. New episodes of that discussion series come out every Friday. And just one more thing, I am now on Twitch. I do Twitch streams every Sunday. Currently, I'm watching the first season of Outlander on Stars. So,
All right, well,
yeah.
check that out, folks. Balloon Head Productions on YouTube, and
Yep.
all of
Yeah.
those other
And
things,
yes.
and all of those other things that you said. You
Yeah.
have like a million. You have like 5 different things you do, like mixtape
Yeah.
podcast and all that.
Yeah. I have. Sorry. Thank you. I have the Mixtape Podcast, the Red Wall Podcast, which is my own podcast, Radio 815, which is a podcast dedicated to discussing J.J. Abrams and the Bad Robot universe. And I have another podcast that I'm the exclusive producer on. It's a podcast called Stark Reality, and that's a podcast about meditation and mental health, basically.
That's great. Well,
Yeah.
thank you, Marcelo.
Yeah,
This has been
no,
a
thank
very
you.
stimulating conversation as usual.
No, thanks. It's been a lot of fun, man. Thank you.
And until next time, folks, live long and prosper.